Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Bonnie Builder. Let's crib drag culture. Florida Attorney General targets drag show guests in subpoena spree. Florida's Republican Attorney General James Uthmeier has sparked outrage after subpoenaing a South Florida local bar for the names of people who attended a drag show. As first reported by the Associated Press, Uthmeier's office is investigating a pride event held last month at the Kilted Mermaid, a wine bar in Vero Beach, owned by the city's Vice Mayor, Linda Moore. The AG's subpoena demands that the bar hand over security footage, guest lists, employee schedules, and even reservation logs by August 8th. In a press release, Uthmeier claimed the event featured adult sexualized performers in front of children. But critics say the investigation is rooted more in politics than law. Florida's so-called Protection of Children Act, cited in the complaint, has been blocked by a federal judge since 2023. Moore told NBC News the show was tame and family-friendly in the early hours. And once drag performances began, parents with young children were told to leave. She confirmed, quote, "There's never nudity at any drag show," end quote. Adding that viral photos shared by a Moms for Liberty member were taken during the adults-only portion of the evening. Legal experts say this subpoena is unlikely to hold up. But as the Electronic Frontier Foundation warns, even if courts strike it down, the damage is done. Guests, performers, and staff may already feel exposed and vulnerable. Still, Moore stands firm. Queer News Tonight has been following and reporting on this story closely. Now, Uthmeier, you are full of shit. And to help out the attendees, the staff, and the drag queens, I'm going to come up with some drag names that they can turn in to Mr. Uthmeier.
All right.
Because they don't have to give their real name. Okay. So, Hell in a Handbasket, Hell in High Water, Hell in Heaven, Point Theater Heights, Wilhelmina Manors. You can use any of those names and turn them in because you don't have to turn in your real identity. You were just a regular patron going to this venue to patronize it. So don't be patronized by this asshole, okay? You were just enjoying a show. Also, I can't see if there was actually any proof that children were in attendance when any adult themes were happening during the drag show. Also, drag can be anything. Drag can be child-friendly. Drag can be adults only. My drag is adults only. So just putting in this blanket statement of like the drag was sexually inappropriate and exposed to children, that's not true. That's not true at all. This is actually politically motivated.
100%.
So once again, don't turn in your real names. Make up a drag name and give it to that motherfucker. Waste his time.
Listen, everybody knows that drag queens are my muses. They are my friends. They honestly lift me up and teach me things on a daily basis, right? And I can't even imagine them going through this. Like, this is totally political. You know, the vice mayor is obviously a big supporter of our community. I mean, she's got a gay bar, right? You know, so, I mean, there's no freaking list. It's like an AA meeting. It's anonymous. You don't just have a fucking list of people who come to the bar, you know? They made a mistake, okay? And I think that, unfortunately, Vice Mayor Linda Moore has to come through and come clean with the fact that they did make a mistake. Putting that all are welcome on the flyer was a huge mistake. And unfortunately, in this day and age, you can't make those mistakes. I can totally see you starting at 4 p.m., there being families around, blah, 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 and then you starting the adults portion at 8. I totally can see that, but your flyer said different. And these mother effers from Moms of Liberty, which are really like 4 women strong, will look at that flyer and run with it and make it a bigger deal than it is. And these people that don't know drag queens, that don't know our culture, that don't know our community, are totally going to think that we're molesting kids, because that's where their mind goes to, okay? Again, if you have ever seen a drag queen perform, you know that they are wearing at least 4 pairs of tights, and there's no way for there to be any kind of sexualization or anything happening, because it's a craft. It's an entertainment. It's beautiful. Yes, some drag queens have potty mouths and maybe sexualize a little bit of their doing there, right? But for the most part, that's usually left to the nighttime, to the adults-only portion of it.
The ones with money.
You know, like, you know, and then they hide behind this protection for children thing that just like drives me insane, you know?
I think everybody should be outraged. Outraged of the waste of taxpayer money on all of this. That's our taxes. And Vero Beach, I think that's probably your area's taxes as well. Don't you think your tax money should be used on something maybe a little bit more substantive, something that would help your community, than this complete bullshit?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, It's a drag show. You know that they're going to be drag queens. Is it a Chuck E. Cheese? No, it's at a wine bar. Okay, so there are many people. If you're that conservative, you're probably not even taking your kids to a wine bar in the first place. Okay?
Right?
And if you know they're going to be drag queens, there was a flyer of what the couple of the drag queens look like that are going to be there, right? So you already knew what was going on. And as Bonnie said, we don't even know that there were actually children there.
Yeah.
We don't know if there was actually any parent that has this complaint that their child was exposed to some kind of sexualization. This is just something that a little spy is in there trying to catch some footage at the time where they had already announced that this is the adults only portion, that we're going to have drag queens. If you're uncomfortable, you guys can leave. So the announcement was made. Even if it wasn't on the flyer, because you might have forgotten what was on the flyer when you saw it a couple weeks ago. They did, according to this report, they did make the announcement. So we don't have any verification that there were actually any children there to be aggrieved.
Yep.
And all of this is at a wine bar, which I think maybe at a certain point you have a certain age limit.
Could be.
I'm not sure
Yeah,
exactly
right?
what
Yeah,
it is.
that
You
part.
know that they're drag queens. It's like taking your children to Mardi Gras at 1 a.m. on the streets and then complaining that, hey, I think there's something that's inappropriate. This is a bullshit story. They are wasting your tax money. And all of you should be outraged at this and and send your emails, your calls to the Attorney General, to all of the people in the government agencies within Vero Beach to let them know, please spend our tax money on things that benefit us and drop the bullshit.
And they hide it underneath this guise of protecting our children, right? Because who's going to be against that, right? It doesn't matter, right? That would be a bipartisan thing, right? We want to protect the children. But who the F said that the children needed protection aside from their parents, all right? There was a big spiel because somebody had taken their kid to the palace for a drag brunch one time, right? And Anna Navarro was there and it was on The View. It was a big, big deal. The parent took the child.
Absolutely.
It's the parent's child. That child came out of that parent's vagina. That parent pays for that child, okay? Like,
Parental choice.
Wouldn't it be up to the parent? Like,
absolutely. That's what they argue. And how many of these people that are in these government agencies are supporting the non-release of the Epstein files?
Ooh.
We know it's not about that.
yeah. Well, and that is your big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.